Hey everyone, ready to really dive deep into AI? I mean, things are moving so fast, it's almost impossible to keep up.
Yeah, it really is an amazing time to be following AI. I mean, the speed of development is like,
Mind-blowing, right? That's exactly why we're taking this deep dive today into this conversation between Richard Socher, Peter Diamandis, and Salim Ismail. And maybe some people are thinking, Richard Socher, who's that? Well, he's actually one of the top 5 most cited AI researchers in the world.
really? Wow.
Yeah, and get this, he's called the father of prompt engineering.
Okay, now that's a title that I actually understand a bit more.
Right.
So prompt engineering is basically like, it's the art of writing the perfect instructions that guide an AI's output, right? So it's like writing a recipe, but instead of ingredients, you're using language to tell the AI what to do.
That's a great way to put it. It's like teaching the AI how to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sakrush's work in this area has been like totally fundamental to how we interact with and train AI today.
So we've got these brilliant minds talking of these cutting-edge AI models, Grok 3 and Claude 3.7. And the big question we're trying to answer here is, how close are we really to seeing super intelligent AI? Is it right around the corner?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
So let's start with Grok 3. I mean, this thing is making headlines everywhere. Developed by Elon Musk's XAI, it was created in just 122 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and with a $6 billion investment, they're not messing around.
It's true that development times like that are becoming more and more common as investment in AI just explodes, but 122 days is still like mind-blowingly fast. It just shows how much money and resources are being poured into this field and how quickly things can change when you have that kind of backing.
It's incredible, right? But is Grok 3 really like a massive leap forward? Is it actually super intelligent or is it just hype? The experts seem to be debating whether it truly outperforms existing models like ChatGPT or Google's Gemini.
And that's a really important debate because it gets to the heart of a fundamental question in AI. How do you measure intelligence in something that's not human?
Yeah, I mean, we use things like IQ tests to try to measure human intelligence. But can we really apply those same standards to AI?
It's tough, right? It's like using a ruler to measure temperature.
Exactly. It gets even more complicated when you consider that some AI models are scoring surprisingly well on these tests. Like Claude 3 apparently got an IQ of under 1.
Really?
Yeah, and some models are even hitting 120. So does a high score on an IQ test mean that an AI is smarter than some humans?
That's a great question. And honestly, I don't think there's an easy answer.
It really makes you think, right? What does it even mean for an AI to be smart? IQ tests only measure certain kinds of intelligence.
Yeah.
Humans are intelligent in so many ways that go beyond just, knowing facts or solving puzzles quickly.
Exactly. We're talking about creativity, emotional intelligence, the ability to understand complex social situations, learn from our mistakes, adapt to new environments.
Right? And there's even research suggesting that AI performs better on some tasks when it's given more time to process information.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's almost like rushing an AI leads to less accurate results.
That's fascinating. It really challenges how we normally think about intelligence. We often equate speed with intelligence, but maybe for AI, it's more about being thorough and thoughtful.
Yeah, maybe it's about quality over speed.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've talked about these really impressive models and the challenges of even defining AI intelligence. But what does it actually mean for an AI to be super intelligent? Is it just about knowing a ton of stuff, or is there something more?
That is the million-dollar question, and I don't think there's a simple answer. Even the experts don't agree on what AGI, artificial general intelligence, really means. Some people define it as automating 80% of work tasks, which, would be a huge change in how we work and live.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole new world.
Right, it's almost like a productivity revolution. But other people define AGI based on an AI's ability to learn. So they focus on whether an AI can learn from just a few examples, showing that it can adapt and understand things in a way that's similar to how humans learn.
So it's not just about being like a walking encyclopedia.
No.
It's about being able to apply that knowledge across different situations, learn new things quickly, and think on its feet.
Exactly. It's about being adaptable and well-rounded.
Sure.
True AGI would probably need multiple intelligences, just like we do. Visual reasoning, math skills, even social intelligence. Imagine an AI that could understand and respond to human emotions.
That's pretty mind-blowing to think about.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, could a truly super intelligent AI even consider its impact on the world? On humans, on other AIs. Is that part of what makes us uniquely human? Like the ability to reflect on our actions and understand their consequences?
Now, that is a really thought-provoking question. It gets to the heart of what consciousness and morality really mean. And as we develop more and more sophisticated AI, these are the kinds of questions we absolutely need to be
And
asking.
it makes you think about the role of computing power in all of this.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence that Musk, with his access to massive GPU clusters, was able to develop Grok 3 so quickly.
I
What are GPU clusters anyway?
Oh, so they're basically these super powerful computer systems specifically designed for processing huge amounts of data using GPUs or graphical processing units. GPUs are amazing for the kind of calculations AI needs to learn. Think of them like the engine that powers these learning machines. The more powerful the engine, the faster the AI can learn and evolve.
So it's like a horsepower race for AI.
Kind of, yeah.
And Musk has a supercharged engine. So how can open source AI models that don't have access to those kinds of resources even compete? It seems like a huge disadvantage.
It definitely is a challenge for people working outside of these well-funded labs. Access to massive computational power is quickly becoming like the key factor in who leads the way in AI development. It raises questions about, who gets to be involved and whether the future of AI will be controlled by just a few powerful players.
And you know what else stood out to me in this conversation? The idea that you don't need to find one perfect AI model for everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Dupter's company, U.com, actually integrates over 40 different AI models, each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
That's interesting. So instead of trying to create one super AI, they're recognizing that different AIs are good at different things.
Right. It's like having a toolbox full of specialized AI tools.
I like that analogy.
So you might use Claude 3.5 for programming stuff because it excels at that, but you'd switch over to ChatGPT for more conversational, general knowledge type of experience.
So it's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that this approach is dynamic. The system learns which models work best based on user feedback and constantly adjusts its recommendations. It's like having an AI manager that picks the best AI employee for the task at hand.
That's so cool,
So if we
dude.
can do this with 40 models, imagine what happens when we have hundreds or even thousands. The possibilities seem endless.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to think about. The possibilities are really just starting to open up.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from these amazing new models to the really big philosophical questions about what it even means to be intelligent. But let's circle back to that original question. Are we on the verge of superintelligence?
Are we?
Well, Richard Socher seems to think so. He predicts that with enough resources, like a few $1 billion, we could see digital superintelligence within the next year and a half to 2 years.
Wow, that's a bold prediction.
It is.
But it shows just how fast things are moving, while the progress is undeniable. I think we need to remember that achieving true AGI with all its complexities is still a huge scientific challenge.
So it's not a question of if, but when. And what happens when we get there? This all feels so sci-fi, but it's happening right now in our lifetime.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? We're watching a technological revolution unfold right in front of us. It's up to all of us to understand what it means and figure out how to navigate this uncharted territory.
This feels like we're standing at the edge of a new frontier, and we're not just watching it happen. We have a role to play in how this all unfolds.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're all creating together, and the choices we make today will determine what that future looks like.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a mix of excitement and maybe a little bit of nervousness. We're diving into some pretty deep waters here. Who knows what we'll find?
That's what makes it so fascinating. And that's why it's so important for everyone to be part of this conversation. We need people from all walks of life to think critically about AI and challenge assumptions as we navigate this new world.
We'll be back after a short break to continue exploring this conversation and unpack what it all means for you, the listener. What can you do to stay informed and engaged in this rapidly changing world of AI? Stay tuned.
Okay,
Yeah.
can't wait.
See you in a bit.
One thing that really strikes me about this whole conversation is how much it's about us humans as much as it's about AI. Like, it's making us question what intelligence really is, what consciousness means, and even what it means to be human.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost like AI is holding up a mirror to us, forcing us to redefine ourselves. And earlier we were talking about how some AI models are scoring really high on IQ tests, but does that really make them smart in the same way that humans are? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, IQ tests have always been kind of controversial even when we use them on humans. They measure a very specific set of skills, but intelligence is so much broader than that. It's about creativity, problem solving, being able to adapt emotional intelligence. All these things that are so hard to measure, let alone recreate in a machine.
Right. It's like we're trying to fit this square peg of AI into the round hole of how we understand things.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's so important to be humble as we go deeper into the world of AI We can't just assume that because an AI can do certain tasks well, that it thinks or feels the same way that we do.
It makes me wonder if we do manage to create a superintelligence, something that's way beyond human capabilities in lots of ways.
Hmm.
How do we make sure that it aligns with our values? How do we avoid those unintended consequences?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's something that researchers and ethicists are really wrestling with right now. One approach is to focus on building AI systems that are transparent and explainable. If we can understand how an AI arrives at its conclusions, then we can start to identify potential biases or errors in its reasoning.
It's like having a window into the AI's thought process so we can make sure it's not going off the rails.
Yeah, exactly. But even if we can understand how it works, how do we teach it human values? Values can be so subjective and different depending on your culture or your personal beliefs.
Yeah, that's true. It's a tough one.
Right. It's a huge challenge. One idea is to expose AI systems to a ton of data about human culture, literature, art history, basically all the things that shape our values and beliefs. The hope is that by learning from all of this, the AI could develop a deeper understanding of human ethics.
So it's like giving the AI a crash course in being human. But even then, wouldn't there still be a risk of bias creeping in depending on what data it's learning from?
Absolutely. Bias is a major concern in AI. If the data used to train an AI is skewed or incomplete, it can lead to biased outcomes, which can have real-world consequences. So that's why it's super important to have diverse teams of researchers and developers working on these systems.
Diversity of thought and experience is key.
Mhm.
It seems like we need people from different backgrounds, different fields, and different cultures to make sure AI is developed with a broad understanding of human values and not just the values of a select few.
100%. And it's not just about diversity within the tech industry either. We need input from ethicists, philosophers, social scientists, artists, people who can bring different perspectives to the table and help us really think critically about what this technology.
It's like we're building this bridge to a future where humans and AI live and work together.
Mm.
And to make sure that bridge is strong and safe, we need the best materials and the best minds from all different areas.
I love that analogy. It really is a collaborative effort, and it requires us to step out of our comfort zones and have these open and honest conversations about the future we're building.
So, one question that comes up a lot is how AI is going to affect jobs and the economy. And it's
Mhm.
often framed in a pretty negative way, like people are worried about losing their jobs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's understandable that people are concerned. AI is automating tasks that used to be done by humans, and that's only going to continue. But I think it's important to remember that technology has always disrupted the workforce throughout history. New jobs and industries emerge and we adapt.
So it's not necessarily all doom and gloom.
No, not at all. I think it's an opportunity to rethink how we work and live life. AI can free us up from those boring, repetitive tasks, allowing us to focus on things that require uniquely human skills like creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, empathy.
That's a really optimistic perspective. So instead of being afraid of AI, we should be looking at it as a tool that can help us do more meaningful and fulfilling work.
Exactly. It's about changing our mindset from competition to collaboration.
Hmm.
How can we work with AI to enhance our abilities and create a better future for everyone?
It's fascinating how this conversation always seems to come back to what it means to be human. It's like AI is making us confront our own strengths and weaknesses.
What's really interesting is that AI might not just be copying human intelligence. It might actually be changing what it means to be human. As AI takes on more tasks, it gives us more time and energy to focus on those things that make us human.
Things like creativity, relationships, compassion, purpose. It's almost like AI could help us become more human by taking care of the things that machines are good at and letting us focus on what makes us special.
That's a really powerful idea. It's not about AI replacing us. It's about AI helping us reach our full potential. It's about recognizing that we're better together, humans and AI, working side by side to create a brighter future.
But how do we make sure that this partnership is fair and benefits everyone? How do we avoid a situation where AI just makes existing inequalities worse?
That's such an important question. We have to be very aware of the potential for bias and discrimination in AI systems, and we need to actively work to fix those issues. It's about designing systems that are fair, transparent, and accountable.
And it's about making sure everyone has access to the benefits of AI, not just a select few.
Absolutely. We need to think about how AI can be used to help communities create new opportunities and empower individuals. It's about using this technology to create a more just and equitable world, not just a more efficient or profitable one.
This whole conversation has been so insightful and thought-provoking. We've talked about so many different aspects of AI, from the technical details to the philosophical and societal implications. But now I want to shift gears a little and talk about what all of this means for you, the listener. What can you do to stay informed and involved in this rapidly changing world of AI?
That's a great question. The most important thing is to stay curious. Don't be afraid to explore, ask questions, and challenge your own assumptions. The more you learn about AI, the better prepared you'll be to navigate this exciting and complex world.
And it's not just about learning, it's about getting involved. Talk to your friends and family about AI.
Yeah?
Share your thoughts and concerns. Encourage them to learn more.
Exactly. The more people who understand the potential benefits and risks of AI, the better. We need everyone's voices and perspectives to shape how this technology develops.
So what are some practical things people can do to stay informed? Are there any good resources or places they can go to connect with others who are interested in AI?
Oh, there are tons of great resources out there. Start by checking out online communities, forums, and social media groups dedicated to AI. There are also tons of books, articles, and podcasts that cover all sorts of AI topics.
And, don't underestimate the power of just talking to people. Connect with experts in your area, go to conferences and workshops, and get involved in online discussions. The more you interact with others, the more you'll learn and grow.
And don't be afraid to share your own thoughts and ideas, too. Everyone has something valuable to contribute to this conversation, no matter how much technical expertise you have.
We're all in this together, right? It's a
Yeah.
journey we're taking together, and we need everyone to work together to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something we're creating right now, and every single one of us has a role to play in shaping that future.
So let's take on this challenge with curiosity, with courage, and with a commitment to building a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
Beautifully said. And I think that's a great place to wrap things up. We've explored some really deep and important ideas today, and I hope everyone listening is feeling inspired to keep learning about AI and get involved in this conversation.
We'll be back after a quick break to finish up our deep dive into this fascinating topic. Stay tuned for more insights and reflections on the future of AI and what it means for all of us. Welcome back to the show. We've been on quite a journey, haven't we? Exploring all these incredible ideas about AI superintelligence, the very definition of what it means to be human in this age of rapidly advancing technology. I mean, it's a lot to take in.
It really is. And I think what's become so clear is that this isn't just some niche conversation. It's not just for tech experts and scientists. This is a conversation that everyone needs to be a part of. AI is already having a huge impact on our lives, and that's only going to increase in the future.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why we've been encouraging you, the listener, to stay curious and engaged. It's not about becoming a coder or an AI expert overnight. It's about staying informed, asking questions, and being part of the conversation as this technology shapes our world.
Exactly. We've talked about some pretty big concepts today. The nature of intelligence, the risk of bias, and AI ethical considerations. But I want to bring it back down to earth for a minute. What does all this mean for you in your daily life?
Okay, so let's get practical. What are some things our listeners can actually do to stay informed and maybe even have a say in how AI is developed?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to just be aware of how AI is already being used in the things you use every day, Your social media, your streaming services, your online shopping. It's all powered by algorithms, which are a form of AI.
So if we understand how those algorithms work,
Right.
we can make better choices about how we use technology.
Exactly. For example, if you understand how a social media algorithm decides what you see in your feed, you can start to recognize those filter bubbles and potential biases. It can help you seek out different perspectives and have more meaningful interactions online.
It's like having a peek behind the curtain, right?
Yeah,
Seeing how the technology works gives us more control as users.
that's right. And besides understanding the algorithms, another thing you can do is support companies that are developing AI responsibly.
So like doing some research into a company's AI ethics policies before you buy their products.
Exactly. Look for companies that are transparent about how they collect data, that prioritize user privacy, and that are actively working to reduce bias in their AI systems.
It's like voting with your dollars. Supporting the businesses that align with your values.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of speaking up. Share articles and resources about responsible AI with your friends and family. Talk about it online. Let companies know that you care about how they're using AI.
So it's a combination of education, awareness, and action.
That's it. We need people who are informed and who are willing to speak up and hold these companies accountable.
It's important to remember that the future of AI isn't set in stone. We're the ones shaping it, and our choices matter.
That's such an important message. It's easy to feel powerless in the face of all this technology, but the truth is we all have a role to play in making sure AI is used for good.
And that brings us to a really important point. We've talked about the risks and the challenges of AI, but I don't want us to forget about the incredible potential it has.
Oh, absolutely. AI has the potential to solve some of humanity's biggest problems.
Exactly. Think about healthcare scientific discoveries, creating a more sustainable future. AI could revolutionize all of these things.
It's like we're standing at the beginning of a whole new era. It's full of uncertainty, but also full of amazing possibilities.
And it's up to all of us to face this new era with wisdom and courage and with a commitment to using AI to benefit everyone.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. It's been an incredible journey exploring this topic with you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to everyone listening for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. It's been an amazing conversation full of big ideas and challenging questions. But remember, this is just the beginning. We encourage you to keep exploring, stay curious, and never stop asking questions about the future we're creating together. Until next time, stay engaged and keep learning.